Hello, it's Sarah.
And Kevin, begrudgingly.
Stop. Why do you always say that? He's only been on a couple times with me and he always says this.
I know.
I know, you like it.
I don't like lives.
You like it.
Okay, I guess I like it. I'm being told I like it anyway.
Anyway, it's been a super, super busy day for me because my company just launched in Spain and Lithuania today. So if you are watching from there by any chance or know someone in one of those countries, there is a chance for European founder shares. It's like literally getting some of the company's profits for the rest of your life. Okay, so there are some rank requirements and stuff, and there's just incentives for getting going. You know, we're still not very known in the US and Canada and stuff either, but Spain and Lithuania, huge. Anyway, that's not why I'm coming on to talk to you, is it?
Well, no.
That's not why we're coming on to talk to you. We realized that today, well, you knew, but today is Kevin's 20-year leg ampuversary. Leg amputation anniversary. So it was 20 years ago. It was before we knew each other, and we were just kind of reflecting. So I'll just tell a little story that I told him, and then how we thought it related, and then maybe some takeaways, because I know some people are going through some really hard times right now, and he can attest to those hard times too. So I was listening to some audio, some personal development. I feel like you're gonna yell at me for talking with my hands too much.
I'm just waiting to get slapped in the face here. It's just...
So anyway, there was this Chinese man, and he was just feeling really like, stop it. Okay, I'll try to stop. Hold my hand. I'm Italian. I know you can't really tell, but I am Italian. So there was this Chinese man, and he just really wanted his son to have a great life. There was all these wars going on in China, and he was just like, I want my son to have a long life and live a long time, live until he's old, and not be drafted into these wars. I don't want that for my son. So he was just putting out that kind of energy, just thinking about it all the time. And one day, his son was riding a horse and fell off and broke his leg. And all the townspeople came in. You're disrupting my story.
I'm sorry.
All the townspeople came in and came to the man and said, this is so terrible about your son. This is so terrible about your son. And he said, you know what? I don't really think it is. I don't know why, but I don't think it is. This is how it goes, right?
Mm-hmm.
As you listen to it too. And so over the next couple days, the Chinese army came in and drafted all the young men for the war. They took all the young men for the war, and they didn't take this man's son because he had a broken leg. It's just a story about how, and I think it's true. Is it true? I don't know where we heard this from, but it's a story about how something can seem terrible, but there could be another meaning behind it. There's lots of examples of this too. Like if you are putting out the type of energy, like you want to do something better in your life, you want a different job, you want a different opportunity, but then you get laid off from your job. And it's like, oh my God, I'm laid off from my job. Or you could be thinking, maybe I'm laid off because I need the opportunity to get to something better. So that kind of is leading into his story. And if you want to just tell a little bit about I don't know, I guess what happened and like how, were there good things that came from it?
Yeah.
Or,
you know, in the moment it can always seem like totally insurmountable, totally terrible, but you know, that experience or that kind of situation could potentially open doors farther down the road, you know, and that's, I think, what sort of happened with me too. Anyway, I'm Kevin. I have one leg. I'm some assembly required. And when I was a kid, so this is back in 2001, I was 14. I was riding a four-wheeler, and I was crossing a road, and somebody T-boned me going about 60 miles an hour. Hit me, obviously, on the left side, front of the car, right at my ankle. Basically, amputation on impact, you know, pinched my leg off between the car and the four-wheeler. I got pretty lucky. I didn't have a helmet on or anything, you know, so it could have been much worse outcomes than it was. I hit the windshield with my head, landed on the roof of the car. The guy that was driving it was in his 70s, I think he was like 72 or 73. He froze behind the wheel, just kept on going. Took him close to 400 feet to stop the car. So very easily could have turned out much different. You know, it was sort of a perfect, well, not perfect, but it was best outcome of a bad situation. The car following the one that hit me was a volunteer fireman. He had his trauma kit with him. The nature of the injury was a crush injury, so it basically formed its own tourniquet, so I didn't really lose much blood or anything, easily could have bled out. With the volunteer fireman right there, he had his radio, and he called it in right away, so I got an ambulance there really quickly. But that first year was pretty rough, you know, and in the beginning there, you know, there's a lot of, why did this happen, you know, I'm feeling like you're never going to overcome things, but, you know, I remember my mom telling me when I was in the hospital, because this was the summer before high school, and I think I told her, it was like, nobody's ever going to want to date me, nobody's ever going to want to dance with me or something with having one leg, and you know how that worked out. But in hindsight, you know, looking back on it now, you know, it's been 20 years, so look back at the last 20 years, I got some really cool stuff that I would have never gotten to be able to do if it wasn't for my injury and my sort of the experiences after the injury, as a way to get active again after I lost my leg. So I got hurt in July, and then by January I got my first leg in like the end of August, beginning of September. Come January, you know, I was starting to get a little bit more active, able to spend more time up and about on my leg, and doing physical therapy, looking, you know, starting the recovery process. And I started to ski, downhill skiing, as a form of sort of in the winter, as a way to stay active, as part of physical therapy. And I picked it up really quickly. I went every weekend to Greek Peak for like 5 weeks in a row. And then I got invited to go to an entry-level race camp in Camelback, Pennsylvania. So I went down to the camp with one of the coaches from Greek Peak, and the coaches running the camp were from the Winter Park Disabled Ski Team out in Colorado. And at the end of the camp, they invited me to join the team the following year. And I'm from a small town, and a lot of local businesses sort of rallied around me and sponsored me so that I could afford to do all this. And I got to join the Winter Park Disabled Ski Team. And all through high school, I raced at a national level in disabled skiing out west in Colorado. So I've raced in Colorado, Utah, Montana, and it's just such a cool experience. I even got to go to ski on a glacier in Norway for summer training with the Finnish national race team. You know, so it's like.
Would you ever have been able to ski in Norway on a team if you didn't lose your leg? Do you think?
I mean, I don't think so. It like opened up the opportunity to go do that, and I got to meet a lot of really inspirational, really cool people through that. You know, so looking back on it, it's sort of funny because you think, oh, how can losing your leg be a good thing? But I got to do all those cool life experiences as a result of it. It's also one of the reasons I went to pharmacy school. It got me interested in sort of my experience as a patient. I was on lots of different meds, you know, and got me interested in sort of medicine and how everything works. I almost went into prosthetics, ended up on pharmacy, and met the love of my life living across the hall from me freshman year. So it can't be a bad thing if it led me to you, right? I got all sappy there for a minute. But you know, and I think it's really shaped who I turned into. I got a lot of one-legged one-liners now, which she gets sick of. But hell, I got a bottle opener bolted to my leg. How many people can say that? You know, so I think the moral of the story is there's always a silver lining. You know, there can always be good out of a bad situation, and a lot of that really comes from your mindset. You know, I've done some public speaking. I've gone into some of the VA systems. Talking to like soldiers coming back with traumatic injuries and other people who've suffered traumatic injuries, and I've always told them like 90% of the game is up here. It really is. If you put your mind to it, you can do pretty much anything you want. You can overcome any obstacle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think the first time I heard you say you were grateful for the accident and losing your leg, I thought you were crazy.
Right?
I did, but you're like, no, it's true, and like I've come to see all of this from all these reasons, and you say because of me too, because you met me. Mm-hmm. We're coming up on our 10-year wedding anniversary, but we've been together
just in a
for
couple
like
of days. 15
years. It's crazy. So we've been together
since 2006, right?
I guess most of like our adult life, right? Yeah. Or our whole adult life, but almost longer together than apart. Yeah. I guess it depends if you count, like, we're not counting. We've been together.
We've been together longer than I had 2 legs for. That's weird to think about, right?
Interesting. Yeah. So yeah, I've even had, from talking to cancer patients and stuff, I've had them tell me through, like, that they were grateful for their cancer because it caused them to reevaluate their health and then change their health and turn it around, and then they can live a better life in turn. Like, it's just wild, and it's just something we wanted to share, I guess, on his 20-year leg accident.
Yeah.
And what is it?
You take ampu-versary.
Ampu-versary.
You take things for granted that you don't realize that you have too. It's like you don't realize what you have till it's gone, kind of thing. It's like, even for me, like getting up to pee in the middle of the night, I can't just get out of the bed and go walk to the bathroom. It's like you gotta move the crutches and stuff. But funny story, the first year after I lost my leg, there were several times I got up to go to pee and forgot that I didn't have a leg, because I can still feel it. It's been 20 years, I still feel like I can wiggle my toes.
That's wild. I bet a lot of people don't know that.
Phantom sensation.
Tell us if you know that or not. I bet you don't, because I didn't.
But yeah, there's been several times I've gotten up to go take a step, totally forgotten, flat on my face. Now I can laugh about it. It wasn't real funny at the time, but
yeah. I don't know. You got anything else for the people, or?
I don't know.
I guess it's just what may, from like the horse story to and this, it's like what may seem like this terrible thing and you don't know why. You could just say, okay, this seems really terrible, but everything's going to be okay. Yeah. Everything's going to turn out okay. You don't have to lie, even if you're going through something not as traumatic and not as big, but you got some bad news this morning and someone asks, how are you? And be like, well, I got some bad news this morning, but it's getting better. I'm getting better. Like, you don't have to lie and say I'm great when you're not. We've done a lot of this.
It's all about changing your mindset.
Yeah, this
little
kind
tweaks,
of this personal development for these little tweaks like this, and it's made a big difference. So if you want one of the audios that I've been making Kevin listen to, because I was like blown away by some of the stuff. I don't think you've finished it yet, have you?
I was resistant to start it, but it's actually
really
pretty good.
Yeah. If you want information on that, because that's really helped us, in the recent, like the last month or two, just reach out to us and I'd be happy to share that over. But that's where I heard the horse story too.
I'm an amputee. I don't want to lose an eye.
Oh my God. I don't even know I'm doing it. Well, now I don't know what I was saying. So do you want to say anything else?
Sorry. That's good.
Wish Kevin a happy 20th.
See if she gets it right.
Ampuversary if you see him, but you won't because we're going to go to bed soon because we're old. Yeah. Okay.
Bye everybody.